Hi guys, welcome to Miraki Therapy Center presents How to Hack, where we are going to talk about a bunch of different mental health related topics and how to hack them simply. I'm Ruchita and welcome to episode 2 of How to Hack. I really hope that you have heard our first episode, and if not, just pause this one and go listen to that because it's a very important and essential topic for all of us right now and sets a good tone. So, yeah, if you haven't, please go listen to the first one. And if you like it, please rate it. And if you love it, subscribe it and share so we can come up with more such episodes. And without doing further delay, let's just get into today's episode. So today we have with us psychologist and therapist Tanvi Ravi, who mainly works with neuropsychological clients. So, hi Tanvi.
Hi Ruchita, thank you so much for that introduction and for having me. So, what are we talking about today?
So today we have decided to talk about compartmentalizing. So basically, what is compartmentalizing?
Okay, so to put it very simply, we all face different kinds of stress, anxiety, and very often that is coming from one aspect of our life. It could be our personal life, it could be our professional life. So, it very often is concentrated in one aspect of our life. And the rest of our life still needs to go on. So, most of the conversations in mental health are usually about how to deal with the stress and anxiety and how to handle everything. But life is still going on. So, compartmentalization is almost like a band aid that is helping you sort of to keep on going until you can, like, until you're actually like everything is sorted and managed, but the rest of your life can still keep going on. So it's like if practiced in a healthy manner along with like a lot of other aspects which we'll come to when we talk about it more detail, but it is a band-aid to help you tide over those difficult times when there is a lot of stress and anxiety in one aspect of your life. So what compartmentalization is really looking at is to sort of separate or isolate one aspect of your life where you have the feelings and situations which are creating all the conflict or the distress, and keeping the rest of your life away from that distress or away from those overwhelming emotions and not letting it affect the rest of our life. What this allows is to focus on the task, on the event, on the person in front of you without allowing those unrelated stressors to sort of interfere and affect everything.
Okay, but doesn't that actually just mean that we are ignoring our stress or emotions?
That's a brilliant question, and that is a very like a very common way to practice compartmentalization badly. To to say it very bluntly, so it's a
Okay.
very unhealthy way to practice compartmentalization.
So that's one way we should never.
That's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're not looking at ignoring. We're not looking at pretending that the troubles don't exist. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about how to balance or manage or create boundaries between the aspects that are troubling you and the aspects that are going well. So
Okay.
let's take an example. Okay, if we are looking at, say for example, going through a breakup. Say you're going through a breakup, but you are studying or are working, right?
Okay.
So you want to ensure that your performance in those other aspects of your life are not affected by the fact that you are going through a breakup. You are going through a lot of strong, heavy, very difficult emotions, but at the same time you have that expectation from yourself ki yaar, this should not affect my work or this should not affect how I'm
So
studying
basically,
because it will.
segregating
Yes,
the
so you're
different parts of
looking
our
at
life.
segregating, but to practice it healthily, first we need to understand whether, like, the compartmentalization that we are doing or the segregation that we are doing, is it healthy or unhealthy. So
Okay.
it is a very gray area to decide that healthy and unhealthy. It's not like a black and white situation, but there are a few like thumb rules that you can try and follow to figure out whether what you're doing is a healthy form of compartmentalization. So the first question to ask yourself in that situation, once you realize that you're practicing compartmentalization, is is it conscious? Is it deliberate? Are you choosing to keep aside your difficulties right now and focus on the situation in front of you? So, for example, are you keeping away the upset feelings about your breakup so that you perform well on your exam, or you're able to prepare well for an important meeting that's coming up? So, you're choosing to keep something aside and focus on something else, and not that you are dissociating or almost tricking yourself or pretending that the distress does not exist. You are making a deliberate choice. That is the first sign
Okay.
of doing it in a healthy way.
So not ignoring, but consciously deciding to separate two
Yes,
aspects.
a conscious choice. That is the first sign of healthy compartmentalization.
Okay.
Equally important is the second question to ask yourself, that is that that is compartmentalization the only thing that you are doing to handle the stress that you are experiencing? So if you are, for example, upset about the breakup, or let's take another example, like say for example um, you've lost your job. Okay, you've lost your job, or you've not done very well on an exam, either of it. So is the only thing you are doing to deal with the distress from that situation to ignore it, to compartmentalize it at this point, to segregate it away from other aspects of your life? Then that again is unhealthy, because like I said in the beginning, compartmentalization is just a band-aid. It is not the solution.
Okay.
It is what is helping you function until the problem is solved, but you have to do something else to solve the problem. So
Okay.
for example, if you have currently lost your job, but you choose to go out with your friends for a nice dinner, to give yourself a break
A break.
from the worries of your job loss, but you know that the next morning you are going to wake up, you are going to sit with your CV and you're going to make the applications. Or if for example you've done poorly in your exam, you're going to figure out what your alternate options are if that exam was an entrance, for example, or how you're going to study differently to ensure that your poor performance does not continue. So you are going to take more steps to deal with your distress at a different time. Just that right now you're choosing ki I'm not going to worry about it because I'm giving myself that break.
Taking a break plus with an approach of problem solving it.
Yes, that
But
you are addressing
at
the
a
issue.
certain time.
Absolutely, at a different time or in different ways, you are addressing issues. It's not that you are just pretending that, oh, I'm not upset, or oh, it doesn't matter, it'll get figured out.
So basically, Delulu is not the Solulu.
Absolutely, Delulu is absolutely not the Solulu.
So for all the 20s, early 20s, late 20s listener, Delulu is not the Solulu, guys. We need to
Yes.
stop saying this.
Yes, Delulu is not the Solulu, but temporary breaks or stepping away from the situation
Are also necessary.
is equally important, and that's what compartmentalization is. So that's the second aspect. This could even include, like, taking measures to help yourself could obviously also include that you are seeing a therapist, or it could include that you are having other healthy practices in your day-to-day life in terms of journaling or other practices that are helping you handle your difficult emotions. But there are times when you actively choose to just switch off and say that, okay, right now I am not going to think about those emotions or those difficulties, and just focus on another aspect. So that's the
Accepting.
yes, accepting, addressing, but not getting stuck in it.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing. And the third aspect is, and here is where the subjectivity comes in, that where is the compartmentalization overall helping you function better, or is it overall reducing your effectiveness? Now, what I mean by this is, say you are having a really tough time at work. Work is very busy, or there are too many demands on you, and you're really struggling with work, or you're really struggling on your educational front. Okay, Now, once you start to compartmentalize that, once I'm done with my study hours or I'm back home from work, I will not worry about it and I will just be fully present with my family or with my partner or with my friends or whoever. So you're choosing to step away from that and focus on this. But if you have over compartmentalized, what could happen is a sort of flatness in your mood itself, like where you're not able to fully experience the things you're present in also, because pulling back to my second point, that you're not doing anything else to address the concerns.
Okay, the problem solving approach is
The
not
problem
present.
solving is not present. So instead of like being able to compartmentalize and say that, okay, right now I am here with my friends or my family and I'm having like a break, or I'm done with the stressful part of my day and now I'm relaxing. But there also, if you're not able to connect fully, engage fully,
So you could not actually experience the moment fully.
yes,
You'll
so
never recover out of it.
so if you're doing, if that is how compartmentalization is feeling for you, that it has reduced your effectiveness overall as a person, as in the other roles that you're playing, whether it is away like at work because of stressors from home or the other way around, then that again, that reduction of effectiveness of feeling good is also a sign that the compartmentalization has maybe gone too far, like where you've separated everything into parts, but you are not living fully in any of those parts anyway,
Huh.
which is pointless.
Yeah.
So again, that is definitely an unhealthy way of compartmentalizing. It almost goes to the extent that you over compartmentalized.
So there's a very thin line between healthy
Yes.
and unhealthy.
Yes. So it is a gray area of where the unhealthy begins and where the healthy sort of ends. So we have to be very mindful, but it is important to understand these three thumb rules. So I'll just quickly say them shortly because we
Sure, thank you.
spoke a lot. So the
Yeah.
first is that you need to ensure that you are deliberately choosing to compartmentalize and it is not a dissociation, it's not a delulu. Second, it is not the only thing you are doing to address your concerns. Remember that it's a band-aid and you need to do more things to solve the issue at hand than just compartmentalize or ignore the issue. And the third is to overall be in touch with like everything around you and your own experience of it, to make sure that the compartmentalization is helping you and not making you, like generally
Robot.
feel nothing. Yes,
Yeah.
not making you a robot. It's not making you feel almost nothing all the time. So you're just going through the motions, but you're not really fully present anywhere. So these are the three things to keep in mind, so you know what is healthy and unhealthy compartmentalization.
Okay, so now that we have understood or learned what compartmentalization is and the healthy part, unhealthy part, how do we hack it?
Okay, so to hack it, I have three strategies. I have a cognitive or a thought based strategy, I have a behavior based strategy, and I have an emotional strategy, or
Okay.
a strategy that will focus on the emotional aspects. Now, let's start with the thought based strategy. The thought strategy is what you will do in the situation when you need to compartmentalize. So, if you are at home and you are stressed about something else, but right now you can sense that you need to compartmentalize, then the first thing is, once you start to recognize those, that there are like any kind of negative emotions coming up that are not required in that situation. So the first question to ask yourself is, how am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? So the answer may come up that I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling anxious, and I'm feeling this way because I had a bad day at work, or I'm nervous about tomorrow's presentation. Whatever. There's a reason that will come up. Then you ask the second question, which is, are these emotions relevant to the task, the situation, the person, or the decision that is in front of me right now? Whatever I'm dealing with right now, are these emotions relevant over here? So you
To
might,
the moment and place.
yes, to the moment and the place. So whether they are relevant. Now, once you've asked yourself that question, invariably the answer is going to be no. If you're out relaxing with your friends or having a good time with your family, it is not relevant at that moment to be stressed about your work. So again, you get a very clear answer that these emotions are not needed right now.
Okay.
Then the third question to ask yourself is there anything I can do about how I'm feeling right now? Can I take an action?
Okay.
For instance, if you are worried about a certain something that's going to happen on the next day, so one of the actions that you could take to improve how you feel right now is to plan that, okay, I'm going to be here for another half an hour or 1 hour, after which I'm going to stop this activity, whatever this is, and go and prepare for that next thing which is worrying me. So
Okay.
once you've made that plan, you have compartmentalized that worry by saying that, okay, I'm going to deal with this in some time. So right now I need to relax. So that is the question to ask yourself, that can I do something in the present? Very often you may not be able to do something in the present because you're worrying about something that has already happened or is vague, is unknown, is uncertain. In that case, you're just telling yourself that I can't do anything about it right now, so let me see if I can sort of distract myself or realign my attention onto something else in the present moment, and can that help me overcome this emotion that I'm experiencing, the distress that I'm experiencing, and can I compartmentalize? So that is, these are all the thoughts that you're looking at.
So should these be journaled or just like thought?
No, these are just thoughts. These are just things you're doing in the situation. You're
Okay.
sitting at dinner with your family and you start to realize you're stressed. I'm not
You can't
expecting
journal,
you to
right.
journal anything. I'm not expecting you to write anything down. I'm just expecting you to think. Run through these questions in your mind.
Okay.
How am I feeling? And what is making me feel this way? Second question is, are these emotions relevant to the present situation, the present company? And third, can I do something about it? If you can do something about it, plan that and then park away the worry. If you can't do something about it, then reassure yourself that because you can't do anything about it, you need to realign your attention into what is happening in the present, so that at least this part, which is good, is something you can focus on. Something that is relaxing, something that you enjoy. You can focus on it. And that very neatly then brings me to my emotional strategy. So this is what you have to, what you're trying to do with your thoughts. What you're trying to do in terms of your emotional strategy is mindfulness. Mindfulness, and the word is thrown around so much everywhere and all the time that
So
it's like it's apparently the answer to everything, but here it really is the answer, because mindfulness, when you put it very simply, is to focus on the present moment. That's what mindfulness is, very simply put. So when you're trying to compartmentalize at an emotional level, that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to be present in the present.
okay.
You are focusing on what is in front of you. Like right now, I'm at work. So the stresses of my home need to stay
at
out.
home.
Right now, I'm doing something I enjoy. So let me make the most of this. Let me experience it fully, so that the negative emotions don't cloud or affect everything. So that's what mindfulness practice would be like to help you compartmentalize. You want to be present in the present. Make the most of the moment in front of you.
Okay.
And small ways to practice that mindfulness is to use your sense organs, is to use, like, make it very physical. Make that effort very physical. Use your sight, your smell, your touch, your taste, your hearing. Use your five sense organs to ground yourself, to engage into the present moment. Look more closely at the things around you, hear with more attention,
Observe, basically.
observe, really become part of
Your
that
surrounding.
moment. Yes, your surroundings and that moment in front of you.
Okay.
So that would be the emotional strategy. And then we have the behavioral strategies, because here is where you're doing the larger work. Your behavioral strategies is where you're going to not just stop at compartmentalization as a band-aid, but you are going to ensure that you are doing other things to address the problem, and not just ignore it, no Delulu, but actually work on the Solulu. So your behavioral strategies are your Solulu, where you're going to be, one, scheduling like aspects of your day or your time to actually address the problem. Now, when I say scheduling, it could mean anything. It could mean exercise. It could mean ensuring that your nutrition is proper. It could mean even something like
So
journaling.
basically, everything our grandparents used to tell us. You should do a certain things to like start your day.
Fair enough. Yes, that, but also larger strategies. Like, this is where you're journaling your worries or sort of being mindful, working on your affirmations, all of that.
Grounding yourself as much as you could.
And addressing the concern. So you're also looking here at seeing your therapist, trying to take a problem or a solution focused approach to the problem. So what are the steps that you need to take to address the issue? So compartmentalization, in the sense of you have a schedule in place, like this is the time when I go to work, this is the time when I do my self-care activities in terms of exercise or ensuring that I'm getting the required nutrition, ensuring I'm getting enough sleep. So you're putting all of that into your schedule, along with which you're also scheduling your time to journal, your time to put down your worries, your time to actually see your therapist, your time to work on the problem, work through the problem. So that those are all the behavioral aspects that need to happen along with your compartmentalization at an emotional and a cognitive level to ensure that it's a healthy compartmentalizing strategy, and you're taking an all-rounded effort to solve your problem and not just stop at the band-aid solution, which is compartmentalization.
And it is also taking a little overall care of your mental health.
Absolutely.
In
Absolutely.
turn, it's doing that for
Yes, yes, definitely it is. So that would be the key. Like, it's like a 3-step. You can always consider it a 3-step authentication instead of a 2-step authentication, where you need the cognitive, you need the emotional, and you need the behavior. You need to do all of it to be practicing healthy compartmentalization.
which is, I feel like in today's era, it's very necessary for us. The youth, as well as I think so, even the older generation also.
Absolutely. I think there is no age bar on this. Just like
Yeah.
there is no age bar on feeling stressed or feeling anxious, there's also no age bar at life going on around it, right?
Yes,
Like, life is not
absolutely.
going to stop because you are feeling upset. And you wouldn't want your life to stop because you're
And
feeling
we
upset,
need
right?
these healthy solutions. Like, these are so basic, anybody can practice it. Anybody can use these hacks
Yeah. But it's important to use them in a healthy
in a
way.
healthy way and
So,
not go excessively crazy about them
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Don't take it too far. Don't
ज़्यादा दिल पे मत लो, kind of.
Absolutely. Like, don't get too much into your own head, basically.
Yeah.
Over compartmentalization will be unhealthy. You will start to experience that you're almost feeling like a robot, or suddenly you might be faced with those difficult emotions which you have very neatly compartmentalized, boxed up, and kept away. Like, it's almost like in your mind you're opening a big carton, you're putting in all of those difficult emotions, and you're closing away that box,
And then one day it'll just burst. So instead of letting that happen,
exactly,
waiting for that to happen, let's be mindful every day.
you need to open that box regularly and
Yeah.
take a check-in on those emotions. Make sure that you are doing other things to
It's like a mailbox kind of thing.
exactly, keep checking your mailboxes so that they don't overflow and burst, but at the same time don't keep checking them all the time.
Yeah, like when you have nothing to do, don't dwell on those
Don't
topics.
but at the same time
Realize that this is necessary at this moment and do that.
Absolutely. So the keys that go with compartmentalization is a lot of self-awareness and a lot of self-reflection.
Thank you so much. This has been a really important topic, I feel, amongst all the other topics, interesting and fun topics that we have planned. This is a very essential topic, and thank you so much for enlightening us about it in such a cool way and in a very Gen Z friendly way.
Thank
This
you. Thank you
podcast
so
should
much.
actually be named Delulu is not,
Not
the
the
Solulu.
Solulu. Yes, absolutely. Oh my god.
And with that, we come to end of today's podcast. It's a little longer than our usual podcast, but I'm so happy. It's so fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. This was
And
super fun.
here's Tanvi and Ruchita signing off. We'll meet you in next podcast. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.